Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Under the Surface. I'm here in Logansport today, and I've got Cameron with me. So, Cameron, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Cameron, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about you, what you do, and what we do here. We'll give this truck a second. There was no traffic 5 minutes ago, just so you know. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about who you are, what you do, and why it's important to rehab these structures in Logansport.
Okay. Cameron Dillon. I've been with Logansport Utilities for 17 years. For the last 10 of that, I've been the director of collection and distribution. Do everything from water, wastewater, and storm. Got on with, started using ART and the OBIC lining 3 years ago. This will be my third year in a row. Mainly, I was totally against any product like this at first, and after some talking with the reps, and they talked me into coming and spraying a manhole just as a demo, and I gave them what I thought was going to be an impossible mission. Basically, it was a manhole on an older manhole on the south side of town, and it had water stream about the size of my fist shooting up about 6 inches or so. And he looked at it and said, "Nope, not a problem. Come back in an hour." And I came back and the leak was stopped and they were prepping to start spraying. At that point, I was impressed. I didn't tell them that. Didn't want to give them a big head, but a few hours later, came back, it was all sprayed, and to this day, have zero problems with that structure. So that sold me on the product. Started out with kind of spot picking some manholes that I knew were issues, and it got to the point, issues with I&I, that is. Then just got to the point where I told them our Logansport motto now with ART is, if you pop a lid and it's not orange, make it orange. And my main reasoning behind that is they're all 100-year plus structures, and if they're not leaking, theory is they're gonna leak. And on top of that, some of them aren't in the best shape as far as structural wise. So a lot of culvert with bonnets on top, the structure's made of. So I'm using this as basically a manhole inside of a manhole to prevent failures. And if there is small failures, your lining's there to keep it from letting I&I into the system.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that's really important that a lot of, we're trying to get out there is that I&I, it's not just a leak
No.
for the town. It's actually wasted money.
A lot of it.
And it's money because the water that's being treated doesn't actually have to be treated as just regular groundwater, right?
Yep, 100%. So our biggest problem with I&I was on the south side, and just looking at a few of our known problem children, we had leaks upwards of 2 to 3 gallon a minute. Well, if you figure that over a week's time and then a year's time, that extra gallonage that's going, we're paying to transport to the wastewater plant and then turn around and chemically treat to release, it's wasted, a lot of wasted money. I can see the differences already just with you guys doing one small section of town, what my booster stations are putting out, run time and gallonage over the years, over the last 3, it's slowly reducing, which is great.
Yeah, and I guess I don't know, so maybe I'll ask this question. What is a booster station? What does it do?
We basically, I use the word booster station, lift station. So
okay.
We have a lot of CSOs here in Logansport. So we're doing a lot of CSO projects for our LTCP with the state. So we are basically, the station that hits specifically on that side of town where you guys are working, we have a 750,000 gallon holding tank and then some 5-foot inline storage. Those pumps, the 3 pumps that are there, their run times are a lot, I won't say lower, but the percentage that the pump is running as far as hertz is a lot lower. So I'm not taking in as much water and putting out as much water from the station as I did prior to you guys coming into town and selling me on the product.
You guys were aligning stuff with another company beforehand, correct?
Yes.
And we don't have to say the name.
Yep.
It's a different color for all of you that follow us. You probably know who we're talking about. But you guys were aligning with them before you brought in the OBIC product. And were you guys satisfied at the time, or were you guys looking for another replacement system at that time?
That company was brought in as part of our LTCP projects. They was tag teamed with some actual lining of the sewer themselves. They came in, did what was on the contract, and that was that. We never had them back. Well, we had them back for warranty work.
Okay.
Several times, but past that, due to that is what put the bad taste in my mouth with that product and anything similar. I was one track mind, like, well, if one's junk, they're all junk. Yeah. Just because in my mind they were the same thing, when in actuality they're night and day difference from each other.
It's no secret that when you do a project of this size, and I think over the last 3 years we've grown business with you guys. Yes. and doing more and more work for you, there's going to be issues with any system because of the
Yep.
size of the project and the scope of the project. How has it been working with ART, and if there is a problem that comes up, how has it been working with us on that side of things?
Knock on wood, I don't have a problem experience.
Yeah.
And hopefully, yeah, knock on something. Hopefully it stays that way. But like we were talking at lunch, when you have any project that has any scale to it all, there's going to be some hiccups. There's going to be some conversation back and forth. Once again, I haven't had to have that experience with ART yet, and hope it stays that way. But which I have not personally went around and lifted every manhole you guys have sprayed, just because there's a lot of them. But the few manholes, if I get an hour where I'm down, the few manholes I have went over and popped, it's a mirror image of the very first one you guys did. They all look excellent. They're the manholes that were sprayed 3 years ago, and the manhole that they just got done spraying for me here. If I took a garden hose and sprayed that 3-year-old one, the walls down, it would look like a twin to this. I could not be more impressed. The crews are great to work with, easy. Any questions I have, if they don't know the answer, they'll call somebody and have it for me right now, basically.
Yeah.
So, so far, the customer experience on my end has been amazing.
What are some of the headaches that you face with your position right now?
Right now, I'm a lot like a lot of other communities out there. More projects going than anybody would ever dream that they would be on. Mm-hmm. My biggest headaches are keeping the project straight, making sure I'm where I'm supposed to be meeting-wise, and staying involved enough with all of them to be able to be knowledgeable about them when I'm asked.
Yeah.
So from between the CSO project that we're just wrapping up on the north side of town, this project, and wastewater plant projects kicking off, we've got a water line project that's been a mass main replacement, small and large diameter, that's been going on for the last year and a half, and will continue to roll on. It's go, go, go.
Yeah. And what size community do you guys have here? How many people?
Roughly around 23,000.
Okay. So it's a decent, it's a good size, compared to Bryan, where our home base is of, I think, about 9,000 people.
Yeah.
So the stuff that you deal with, the amount of water you guys deal with, water, clean water and wastewater side, is double the amount that we do in Bryan. So I can only imagine the projects and constant projects you guys have going on here.
Yep. And your typical city will have a water guy, a wastewater guy, and a stormwater guy, or the wastewater stormwater bundled together.
Yeah.
But we're here in Logan, we're kind of rare. One minute we may be fixing a collapsed sewer, the next minute we get a call that there's a 6-inch main break on the other side of town. We retool everybody and go to the shop, get the parts, and fix the problem. My guys are basically a multi-tool. They're a Swiss Army knife. It's not just, Well, that guy, John, knows just water and how to put a clamp on a main. And Nick knows just sewer. He wouldn't know what a water main looks like if you asked him. So my guys are versatile and well-faceted in all of the fields. So if one guy's out, I don't have to worry about retraining or putting somebody that's untrained on a piece of equipment and making an unsafe environment to work in.
Yeah. And I think you alluded to it a little bit, and we also talked a bit about it earlier, but there's a difference between rehab and Band-Aid approach.
Yes.
And I think that that's an important piece to understand that, you know, the work that we're doing here with rehabbing the structures, that's not considered a Band-Aid for you guys, right?
No. For me, about 5 years ago, some upper management changed. The superintendent retired and got replaced. And before that point, we were, I'll Band-Aid it. If it lasts 3 days, 3 years, that's great. The new superintendent basically came in to the table with, why are we doing 3-year fixes when we could do 50-year fixes and never see it again in our lifetime? So that was kind of a shell shock for everybody in the shop of, you know, if this section is bad, don't Band-Aid it, just replace it. That way we're done when we walk away and we never see it again. And it's all based on budget and community size and how much funding wise you can get. I mean, thankfully we have got a lot of help with grants and government funding, match grants, stuff like that. So we're fortunate enough to be able to take that 50-year approach, where some communities, it's just not realistic and it can't happen because the funds aren't there.
Right. This part looks fairly new, though. Has this been recently redone, or these manholes weren't brick and old, right?
No, the concrete we're standing on is right about 3 years old. Okay. Almost to the month.
We see a lot of that in communities where, even more so now than ever, we're actually coming in on the front side of installation. You know, they'll put stuff in and they're like, I'll just come in and line it right off the bat so we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
You know, it is 3, 5, 10 years, whatever that looks like. But, you know, your community's interesting because we're doing manholes like this, and then we have some of the old brick ones that are being worked on, correct?
Yep.
And then, like you said, you're going around and still inspecting and everything's looking brand new. I guess everybody always asks, you know, why bright orange? I don't really know the answer to that. I'll get you guys an answer at some point. But for you, on your side of things, when you're looking inside of a manhole, does the color help you see any issues, or what does it do for you on that side?
Surprisingly, yes. Okay. The manholes from 3 foot to 10 foot deep that you've sprayed, when they're just brick structures, you almost need a light unless you're at high noon and the sun's shining straight down on you.
Okay.
The bright orange reflects the light amazing. Okay. On an overcast day, you pop the lid, you can see every nook and cranny. The orange, I don't know where it came about in the philosophy of making the product, but good color choice.
Well, I'll tell you, from the marketing side of things, it makes it a little easy because people get us noticed. You know, they notice us a lot.
Oh, and that's how you call out a brand. Well, is it that stuff, or is it the that?
Yeah, it's orange. Just remember
that's the orange.
That's all you have to remember.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to meet with me real quick today. As you can see, our guys just transferred down to the other manhole, so we'll go down there and get some good footage for everyone to see. But I appreciate you. I appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.